Thursday's jersey controversy is a great example of the power of social media and how it can impact the world of sports. Dave Oldham, Nuvie's CEO, is here to join us, social media analyst. Twitter blew up with this. What was your initial reaction as you were watching this unfold?
Well, it was a big response. So initially we thought, is that really that big of a deal? But apparently to the fans especially, it was a really, really big deal, and they started voicing their opinion almost immediately. It blew up, like you said. As
you're analyzing this, what did some of your analysis show that maybe surprised you about this, what seemed like a trivial thing?
Well, it was interesting that a lot of the players didn't really want to take a stance. When anyone was asking them, friends and family, whatever, they didn't want to take a strong stance. At least publicly, they didn't want to say anything. So you knew right away that they weren't super excited about it.
Yeah.
There were a lot of alumni that were tweeting, "This is a really bad idea," not really, excited about it. And there wasn't anything, as we started to see it build, we think that the biggest response and most of the negative stuff from the fans, at least, was that it wasn't, it was presented as this is a permanent change and it's not just for, a temporary thing or for one game or something. That was the biggest response.
Of course, Bronco tweeted the decision to return back to the names. Did you find that interesting?
I did. I thought it was actually a good move. Given the fact that the fans felt so strongly about it, their positive reaction after that was that they thought it was cool that he took into account the players' opinions. They thought it was cool that he kind of owned it and was somewhat self-deprecating about I made a mistake, but I listened to the players. And I think that he's excited about it being it was actually the players' idea for the homecoming game, and I think that he was happy about that. So the fan response was positive.
The way we tweeted out the video of his reaction, did you find the way he responded to this the right way to do this? Obviously, it's spreading on social media.
Yeah, he couldn't have handled it better. From a social media perspective, what we've seen with other controversies in the past is if he would have ignored it, or if he would have been antagonistic, hey, that's my decision, and been really strong about it, then it would have just poured fuel on the fire. The social media would have blown up even more. The fans themselves, the BYU fans and U fans and other fans would have had a heyday with it. I think the way that he responded was as good as you can handle it from a social media perspective.
Do you think the immediate reaction influenced Bronco's reversal?
I think he said that, right? So in the interview that we saw, we were just watching earlier today, he said he came walking out of this meeting with the recruit and said the sports information director looked like he was going to have a heart attack. And so I think that immediate social response and the volume of the social response influenced it. But I thought it was cool that he said, I called a team meeting, asked the players what they wanted to do. It sounded like a pretty unanimous decision, and so we know now that it was, there was an impact that came from social media and influencing the decision.
He even made a social media joke saying it was a great way to earn 1,000 Twitter followers.
I learned how to get 1,000 Twitter followers really fast, right? So
even Bronco's on board with Twitter. That's great to see. Well, just in general, can an athlete or a coach, if something goes wrong, how much power can social media have in recovering from a negative thing like that?
It has a big impact. So as I mentioned earlier, we've seen other controversies in the past. For one example that we can think of that we actually did an interview with ESPN, they asked us about Manti Te'o, the fake girlfriend, and what the sport or the social media impact was. And the thing that he did wrong, we think, is he just let it kind of go. He didn't really address it for a long time, so it just gives it time to keep burning and burning. And on social media, one person tweets and then their 100 followers tweet and then those 100 followers tweet, and it just explodes really quickly. So it has to be a quick response, and the best response typically is owning it, admitting that something was wrong or that you made a mistake, and then the self-deprecating humor or making fun of it diffuses it, really. If you're making fun of yourself, then nobody else looks brilliant making fun of you, right? So I think the way that Bronco did this and kind of making light of himself, the whole anniversary gift, reference that he made on the video interview, I think was funny. The 1,000 Twitter followers, instant follower, trick was funny. So, yeah, I think he handled it as well as he could have, and there would have been worse ways to handle it for sure.
Well, just shows the power of social media and the power it can have in influencing one thing negative or positive. Some great information. Thanks for your analysis. Appreciate it.
You bet. Thanks.